Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Legends of Tomorrow Season 4, and it's back. Legends is back, and this is going to be my review for episode 1 of this season, otherwise entitled The Virgin Gary. Obviously a little play on the title of The Virgin Mary. But of course, if you have not watched the episode, go watch it, then come back to this video later on, because we're going to be talking spoilers. But if you are continuing on, you've watched the episode, be sure to drop a like on it, show your support for the return of Legends for this season. Let me know in the comment section down below your favourite part for this episode and your different little, just your opinions and your theories possibly with what's going on this season. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So last season, Malice or Malas or however you wanted to pronounce his name, there was a couple of pronunciations used throughout this season. He was released, this big demon, but, he was defeated by our good old mate Bebo. That was nice to see. I think we're meant to have Bebo come back to this season, so that's good to hear. But due to Legends releasing Malice, some other things were released. So we saw a dragon's head, and that just gave us a bit of a tease as to what's to come this season. But we start off this season with the Legends actually finishing off the last of the anachronisms, that being Paul Verrier, I don't know, some dude involved with American history, I think. I'm Australian, I don't know, don't learn it in school. So yeah, some dude, Paul Revere, I think that's what his name was, dude riding a horse, that's what I'll call him. So the Legends deal with him, and it's like after the fact, at the time bureau, that we find out that was the last anachronisms, and the Legends have completed it, mate, they've completed it. But due to this, the Legends are bored. Like, dealing with the anachronisms is fine and stuff, but, Constantine promised goddamn dragons and monsters and Shrek and Donkey. Where are they? They're not turning up, so the Legends are bored. And I love the meta jokes that Ray used about, like, ratings and stuff like that, about loyal fans. Ray was really good in regards to meta references here. I think he references Supernatural later on. I think there might have been one other decent reference, like a CW sort of reference, so Ray was on fire in regards to those. But essentially what the Legends want is that they want to fight monsters. Bring on the monsters, bring on, this is Monster Hunter, new show, not Legends of Tomorrow, Monsters of Tomorrow, bring them on. They're just waiting patiently, to be completely honest. Like, it has been 5 months. And also within that 5 months, they do reference Wally and stuff like that. Obviously all that's been dealt with the Flash, but they do make sort of a funny thing about like how Legends might reuse plot lines, stuff like that, and they even like reference back to Wally. It's like, hold on. Wally's gone away to like find himself. Wasn't he doing that last year? I thought that was pretty funny. But of course, the new addition to this season is John Constantine. He was obviously in a couple of episodes last season, but he is going to be a season regular this season, which is awesome. But he comes to alert Sarah and basically just rehash what was said last, at the end of last season with the dragon. Like, when you release Malice, you open up the door to all these other things. So he's come to alert Sarah. And he had like the knuckle bones of something. I can't remember what it was, but they were pretty creepy. But Sarah starts to believe eventually that, something is not up and there's other beings that have been released throughout history. Now we do meet Nate's dad, who is Hank, or Henry, that's his official name, but we'll call him Hank. So Hank Haywood is in this season, played by the guy that played Biff in Back to the Future. I think his name's Tom Wilson, I think that's the actor's name. Should have looked it up before I made this review, but I didn't. But I think it's Tom Wilson, I think that's his name. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comment section down below. But you can tell, like, straight away, their relationship, not good. Not a good relationship between the two, but you're going to have to think that throughout this season that bond's going to get much stronger. And we do see throughout this episode itself that there's just, like, some sort of healing going on there, but there is just a resistance, I guess, from Nate's dad as to why they're not getting, closer. We might find out more about that throughout the season, but it just seems to be like, Nate didn't follow what maybe his dad expected of him. To a degree. I think his dad might be very old-fashioned in regards to that, but I'm sure we'll learn more about that throughout the season. But the main setting for this episode was back in the late 60s, 1969. We're off to Woodstock as we got in the trailer, and there's dead hippies. I think they called it the Woodstock Massacre, I think they called it. And I wonder what's causing this massacre back in Woodstock. Oh, it's a goddamn murderous human eating or human heart eating unicorn. And also this unicorn decides to like just sparkle sauce. I think that's what Sarah referenced, sparkle sauce. Decides to sparkle sauce people, and that trips them out and just sends them on, weird trips. We did see Ray and Zari tripping out, which is pretty funny, but easily the funniest trip out was definitely Nate and Mick about Nate seeing his father, which was pretty funny, but easily the funniest was Mick seeing Axel. Bit triggering, Legends, bringing back Axel into it. Like, we've only just recently got over the death of Axel. Easily the saddest death in the Arrowverse last year, if not all of TV. But we saw a big Axel, and yeah, goddamn. Why am I surprised by this happening? Like, really, it's Legends. Like, why am I surprised that we see Mick tripping out and talking to a giant rat named Axel? Yeah, I don't know why I'm surprised, but it was funny, but also touching at the same time. But we get the namesake of this episode coming into it, the Virgin Gary, so we need a virgin to do like the whole ritual or spell to send this unicorn back to wherever it's from. We'll say Hell Unicorn, we'll call it Hell Unicorn. So it's going back to Hell. And he gets in, and obviously I think that'd be a running joke maybe this season, that Gary's a virgin. I don't know, was that ever established on the show before, that Gary was a virgin? I don't know. But I did like the visual effects they used with Constantine, when they like the whole like stuff came up, like all the spell ritual ruins, would you call them? All that stuff came up. I thought that was pretty cool. And even when like the unicorn forms into that, like, is that like its true version? Because it's from wherever it's from, actually looks like that. Almost looks like a Thestral from like the Harry Potter stuff, but it looked pretty creepy. But it does actually bite Gary's nipple off. Now, just an early prediction here. Don't know if it'll actually happen, but a bit of an early prediction. It would not surprise me in the slightest if that's either a running gag throughout the season that Gary has lost his nipple, or in like 3 or 4 episodes time, they need someone for a spell that only has 1 nipple. Or maybe they need 3 nipples, so they need a normal person with 2 nipples, and then Gary comes along with, hey, I've got 1 nipple. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if that is a joke or something that happens later on in the season. Actually, I want it to happen now. We need that 1 nipple or 3 nipple spell joke happening at some point. Now, one of the more touching parts of this episode, and actually wasn't expecting it in the slightest, that's the thing that Legends does, it can actually get you with like an emotional part. Like even like the Axel death last season was sad, and it was just like out of the blue, like this, the emotion that Axel bit from last season brought to you. Well, this episode we have Zari seeing her younger self and her mother, and it's basically her just resisting the urge to go and tell them what to do, to move out of America before what happens, later on. And, about how, well, yeah, you watch the episode, just all that stuff that happens that we sort of like heard a bit about last season, or a decent amount of last season. So that was actually a really touching moment between Zari and Ray. So yeah, out of the blue, but as I said, Legends does that. Like, that's why I think Legends is such a unique show, because it takes the piss a lot of the time. Like, it just makes fun of, like, it's like almost like a parody without being a parody. Like, it does make fun of all like the superhero and comic book show tropes, but it still has heart, which I think is one of the best parts about the show, and the characters just work so well together, and you actually care about the characters. But the ending scene is a big like, ooh, okay, what's going to happen here? And that's when we see Constantine basically reject joining the Legends, even though Sarah comes to him and is like, oh, come join the Legends stuff. Constantine rejects it, doesn't want to join the little boarding school of the Wave Rider and stuff like that. But then he is attacked by some sort of demon, and it's a pretty like weird scene. It looked like he was getting like twisted and all that. I was thinking that like maybe his back was just going to split in 2 or something. I wasn't sure what exactly was going to happen. But essentially on the mirror, like it's all cracked, and we see Constantine looking into it and says, I'm coming for you, Johnny. So blood, I'm assuming, if something red, I'm assuming that was meant to be blood or something like that. But I guess you like wondering like, okay, who the hell is it? It's someone that has a connection to John or Constantine. He knows of him. I'm sure Constantine knows of this demon as well. So who is it? I guess the top option would be Nergal, who was the demon that took the little girl, I can't remember her name, to save my life. God, I'm having a brain fart. Anyway, the little girl in Constantine season 1. So that could be him. I just don't know if they'd bring him back because he was such a focus before. So would they want someone new? I have to wait and see. But I guess he would be the top choice because we already know it's someone that knows of John and John would know of them. But I'm hoping, hopefully we get some like hints to it in episodes to come. Especially because Legends has a shorter season. I don't think they want to leave it too long, similar to Malice last year, where it took so long for us to see Malice. They might want to, bring this demon into it early, or at least give us a name and some sort of idea as to who the Legends are dealing with this season. But overall, this continued on from last season, like in regards to just like its tone, its wackiness, its zaniness, its legendsiness, is that a word? Legends once again didn't disappoint. I Did say Legends wasn't at the top of my hype just because I thought it would just carry on from last year. But when I think about it, it should have been at the top because I loved Legends last season. It was the best Arrowverse show last season. So why wasn't it at the top of my list in regards to hype? I thought it was really good. I don't think it pipped the Arrow premiere. I do think the Arrow premiere was just a bit better just because it was a bit different. And it just elevated Arrow to another level in regards to certain things it did. But Legends just continued on and was consistent as it was last year. And you got to give it a bit of a round of applause for that. So I think Legends slots into number 2 for my favorite premiere, and I cannot wait to see what else they do going forward with this season, especially like just these mystical creatures and what else we meet. I think next week we meet Fairy Godmothers and maybe something else. I know Fairy Godmothers exactly, that's next week, but I'm not too sure what else might show up. But I'm just looking forward to seeing what wacky fairy tale, mystical, mythical stuff they can do this season. And I'm excited. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below what was your favorite part of this episode. Just leave your general opinions in the comment section down below. I'm interested to hear them. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.